The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. While Americans are still reeling from the mass shooting at an elementary school in Texas, another shooting incident has taken the lives of 4 people, this time in Tulsa, Oklahoma. A man armed with a rifle and a handgun was said to have entered a medical building in Tulsa on Wednesday. He killed 4 individuals before fatally shooting himself. Officers arrived at the scene 5 minutes later to ensure more people were not harmed, and police responses have come under increased scrutiny after the tragic death of 22 individuals in Uvalde, Texas. The high prices of essential goods is one of the problems Filipinos in Sri Lanka are facing amid the country's economic crisis. But while some Filipinos are choosing to stay, 25 Filipinos have expressed their interest to be repatriated. Faith Del Mundo with the report.
38-year-old Fatima Anisha, a mom of 2 in Negombo, Sri Lanka, is worried about the future of her kids. Her struggle with meeting their needs tripled as prices increased while supplies dwindled. However, she still chose to stay in Sri Lanka even the DFA offered repatriation flights.
Ramdam po namin yung kahirapan kasi po dito kami nakatira. Pero kung ikumpara sa conversation sa pera sa Pilipinas, mas mura pa rin po dito kaysa sa Pilipinas ang bilihin po, ma'am. Kaya lang po, nagkakawalan po ng fuel last few months kasi nga po na wala pong dollar.
33-year-old Marisa Ortiz, who is based in Colombo, Sri Lanka, also does not want to leave the country. This even as milk powder has tripled in price from 300 rupees to more than 1,000 rupees, a huge increase considering that Marisa needs to buy $6 per month for her daughter.
Nagsushortage na po yung mga supply sa supermarket. Kahit may pera ka pa po, minsan wala kang mabibili.
What is also disheartening is that she is no longer able to send money to her family in the Philippines.
Every month makakapag-ipon ka. Kasi every month kasi nag-iipon ako sometimes para maipadala ko sa Pinas, parang ganun. So ngayon, wala na po. Saktong-sakto na lang po.
OFWs like Marisa and Fatima hopes the government will give them financial assistance. They also wish for Sri Lanka to have their own Philippine embassy.
Nananawagan po kami in behalf of my fellow kabayan na nandito sa Sri Lanka po. Nananawagan po kami sa ating presidente, sa ating vice president o di kaya kay Sir Rapi Tulfo na sana po ay mabigyan kami ng ayuda kahit konti lang po para po sa makatulong po sa aming needs po dito.
Marisa and Fatima are just 2 of the 492 Filipinos in Sri Lanka who are experiencing the brunt of the inflation crisis. According to the Philippine Consul in Sri Lanka, the Philippine government is committed to helping the Filipinos there.
The prices are going up as usual in the world market as well. In Sri Lanka also same thing. The prices are going up in fuel. The electricity will go up and the consumer items prices will go up about 40 to 50%. Most of them have gone up already.
The DFA has promised to distribute $300 per Filipino in Sri Lanka on top of the option to take repatriation flights.
Naghihirap po. The DFA is going to Sri Lanka to give financial assistance po. Pagbibigay po ng financial aid sa mga adults po na $300 per Filipino para mapangtawid po nila. Pero kung hindi pa rin po talaga maibsan yung problema, hindi po ang DFA na mag-repatriate ng mga kababayan natin. Kasi kung tuloy-tuloy po yung economic crisis,
according to the DFA, 25 Filipinos have signified their intent to be repatriated, with flights set to start this weekend or next week. For News 5, Faith Del Mundo, we are One News.
For one former palace spokesperson, the Malacanang Press Corps must take a stand on whether vloggers should be accredited to cover palace briefings. Recall that the incoming Marcos administration is set to push for accreditation of vloggers to cover the palace. Speaking to the chiefs, former Malacanang spokesperson, Attorney Edwin Lacerda said that the Malacanang Press Corps should have a say in the matter. And Lacerda added that if vloggers will be allowed to cover palace conferences, they must remain objective and adhere to the standards demanded from media personnel.
Yung mga vloggers sa campaign, they were not doing news. They were making bongbong lugod. And
Propaganda.
actually, campaign yun eh. But right now, iba na to. Nation building ang pinag-uusapan dito. It's really more and more as we see bloggers insisting on taking precedence over a job which they may not exactly be at home or trained with. It presents a threat to democracy in the sense of where are we getting our objective news. I would defer to Malacanang Press Corps for that. Sila Ami, the Malacanang Press Corps members would define, would put roles there. You govern yourselves. You provide your own rules. So it's up to you. I don't know what's the current setup right now. So it's up to MPC. It's a new field. Baka there might be a compromise kung kailangan. Pero certain standards should be upheld.
We'll be back with more stories after a quick break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. Infectious disease expert Ron Jean Solante says the state of public health emergency may be lifted under the next administration because of the continuously improving COVID-19 situation in the country. Solante says that if daily cases stay at around 200 level, lifting the state of emergency should be considered. And Solante tells News 5 that despite the emergence of variants of concern, hospitals no longer reach critical capacity. He also notes that the country now has wider vaccination coverage, and treatment options against COVID-19 are also available. Once the state of calamity is lifted, the expert says there will also be even looser restrictions on economic activities. Solante admits, however, that Filipinos may have to start paying for their vaccines, as these will be commercially available.
Face mask and health protocol is still very important. Vaccination, kung ano man yung recommendation ng gobyerno, tutuparin natin. So most likely, pag tinananggal na yan, the possibility that it will also be commercially available, anybody can buy it, or yung mga, especially who can afford, or yung mga private sector, can buy their own vaccines. And at the same time, itong mga antivirals na mga na binigyan ng emergency use, pwede na rin sigurong may bibili rin yan, no, sa mga authorized hospitals or authorized mga pharmacies.
PDEA publicly destroyed seized illegal drugs in Cavite earlier this morning. Marian Enriquez now joins us live from 13 Martires in Cavite to give us the latest on this. Good morning, Maan. Could you tell us the estimated street value of these destroyed illegal drugs?
Yes, Charles, about 14.3 billion peso worth of dangerous drugs were destroyed by the PDEA and PNP earlier today at the Integrated Waste Management Incorporated here in 13 Martires in Cavite. This is actually the largest volume seized and destroyed in the history of PDEA's destruction of illegal drugs, including 2,000 kilos of shabu, 400 kilos of marijuana, and 18 kilos of ecstasy. Charles.
Right, man, we also received reports that VP-elect Sara Duterte will be present at this event. Do we have any updates about this?
Yes, actually, Charles, VP-elect or Vice President-elect Sara Duterte was actually invited to be the guest speaker at today's event, but apparently she wasn't able to attend. And as to the reasons or the details why she wasn't able to attend, the camp did not elaborate on that, Charles.
Right, Maan, you mentioned earlier that this is quite the haul, quite a big haul for PDEA. What are some of the agency's expectations for its anti-drug campaign under the incoming Marcos administration?
Yes, Charles, actually the PDEA and PNP were actually hoping that the next administration would strengthen and increase all its efforts in this war on drugs, including the demand reduction, because there are about 10,400 barangays that are yet to be cleared of drug pushers and drug users. So they're actually, hoping that they will continue this drug war under the President-elect Bongbong Marcos administration. Charles.
Thanks for that, man. That was Marian Enriquez reporting live from Cavite. Time now for a quick look at some of today's headlines. Senator Cynthia Villar drops out of the Senate presidency race and is now backing the bid of Senator Mig Zubiri. Outgoing Vice President Leni Robredo is now preparing for the launch of the Angat Buhay NGO. And Korean supergroup BTS visits the White House. And those are the top stories at this hour. Join us later at 2 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.